Good afternoon, Loopers. Welcome. I am Kim Russo. I'm the director of AGLCA. Today, we are going to introduce you to, in a little bit more detail, to some of the features and benefits of our new website and our new forum. So welcome. We hope that you have already started using the website and forum. Really is pretty user friendly, but we know that all of us are not getting any younger and are sometimes not real thrilled with change. So we thought giving you a video introduction and with the live opportunity to ask questions would be helpful. A few things to know before we get started. There are other members of the Homeport crew here to assist you in addition to myself. Karen, Julie, and Joanne are all there. Karen is going to be monitoring the Q&A for us. So if you do have questions about the site, please feel free to type those, but please try to use the Q&A as opposed to the chat. You should see a Q&A button in your Zoom panel. That is the one you're going to want to use because that will allow her to type answers to you. And that will also allow her to mark some for answering live when we get to the Q&A session. So throughout, you can feel free to type the questions in the Q&A. If it's something that Karen thinks will have a widespread appeal, a lot of people have that question, she'll wait and we'll answer that live during the Q&A. If it's something that's very specific to your circumstance, she may be able to knock that out for you and answer you through typing it into the Q&A. If you have technical issues or things like that, you can type those into the chat and Julie and Joanne are standing by and they will do their best to help you with those. So again, questions for me or for Karen should go into the Q&A and the two of us will answer those as we are able. So I am going to go ahead and share my screen because I've got lots of different things I would like to show you. Let's see, I am going to share my entire screen because let me get a couple things out of the way, but I have a couple different applications open that I want to be able to include. So I will share all of those. And hopefully you can now see my screen. Karen or Julie, if you would just unmute for a second. Karen, I think you have that ability and just confirm you can actually see the screen for me.
Yes, I do see the screen.
Excellent. So I want to start off with a little bit about why we made this change, because there have been lots of questions about that. There were certainly some people that were very pleased with the platform we had been on before. And those are the people I think who are probably struggling a little bit with this new platform. But we didn't undertake this effort willy-nilly or without putting a whole lot of thought into it. This is a graph from our member survey, which was done towards the end of last year, the beginning of this calendar year. This is basically a grid that was calculated based on the responses. If you can see along the bottom, this is where we're performing well. This is where we could use some improvement. But then as you look along the x-axis, strongest impact are the things at the top and weakest impact are the things at the bottom, meaning improving upon things at the top here are what members are really looking for to make an impact. So this quadrant that is highlighted in green is where we found out from your feedback that we really needed to focus our improvement efforts. So as you can see, virtual events was one, website was the other. Thankfully, we are moving on back to in-person events. We may mix in some virtual ones, but that to us was a more minor issue because it affects not nearly as many members as the website. And given that everything else was in the high performing, strong impact quadrant, this proved to us that the website was really where we needed to focus, which is what we decided to do. So that's kind of the reason behind the change, and just another graph that supports that. Again, the zoom has shifted, but again, this is where a strong impact can be made by improving, and these are just different functions of the website that all fell into that category, which is really the information we use to say, okay, members are looking for improvement here. We really need to make some changes. The comments also in this survey also supported that. There were many comments about the website, about the forum, needing to be modernized, needing to be more friendly. You'll notice the ability to connect with other members was listed here. The ease of providing feedback was listed here. So because some of you have asked, that is the reason for the move. For those of you who really liked the Club Express platform, we know it's a tough transition. But please bear in mind that there are members who didn't like it, and we're trying to accommodate everybody. When all was said and done and we imported the member database into the new platform, there were 8,600 individual users. So we know we can't please all of you. We really think this current solution provides the best of all possibilities. And part of what we're going to do today is show you why. With that said, we do know there were some missteps starting off, and that came with the forum that was built into the website. So please understand that the member database is a critical piece of the forum. The two of those need to talk together, which is why we needed a platform that could handle both the member database needs, the website needs, and the forum needs. It was clear pretty quickly that the forum built into our new platform, which is called Your Membership, was not adequate. So we moved very quickly to find something better. It's been, it's been 3 weeks since we released the site, and it's been about 10 days since we moved to what we think is a great forum solution. So that's what we're going to show you today, is the new forum and some of the new features of the new website. So one other thing I would like to note is that no features have been lost in this conversion. There are new features. There are some of them that you may or may not like. You don't have to use the new ones if they're not something that appeals to you, but none of the functionality is gone. There are some changes in the way some things are presented, but all of the benefits and features you had are still there. So keep that in mind as we go through this. So starting from the website, this is the home page. And the first thing you are going to want to do as a member is to sign in. Please notice there is a forgot your password right here, like most websites would have. We at the home port have gotten lots of requests from people who don't have their password, in part because maybe they missed the transition, and for your own safety and privacy, we never have access to your passwords. So we were not able to migrate your password from the previous version of the site. So that is one of the reasons there. I'm going to go ahead and hide my video so that hopefully it's not taking up any real estate on the screen here. But so if you have not logged into the new site yet and don't have what your temporary password that was emailed you, go ahead and just hit this button and it should arrive to you by email. That'll take care of it. If it does not, then certainly let us know and we can fix it for you. The other important button here before you log in is we really suggest you hit the Remember Me. You will still have to re-log in on occasion, and that again is for your own security. But it does make the process a little bit easier. So you can see that I had several saved there. But I am going to log into what is kind of my test account. It is the account of Jane Looper, and I'm going to hope. Nope, I picked the wrong one. I was afraid that was going to happen. Let's try that one. Okay, so I am now logged in as a member. You can see that there's a sign out button and the login has gone away. The first thing I want to show you all is the forum, because we know that that is kind of the newest piece, and the fact that we pivoted and went to something more feature rich pretty quickly after this was introduced has created some confusion. So I want to start by focusing there. I will just point out that these menus are largely the same as the previous site. We have added a couple of options within the menus to make more visible some things that were a little bit more deeply buried in the previous version. The Interact menu had previously been called Connect. So if the rest of them are the same, but if you're looking for the Connect menu, we found a lot of people didn't quite realize that that was ways to connect with other members. So we decided to call that Interact. So the forum is a way to interact with other members. So that is where you will find the forum. At the moment, there is a temporary landing page here that explains to you that the discussion forum has moved to forum@greatloop.org. A couple things I want to explain to you here. We are working on a seamless integration between the forum and this main part of the site. Because we changed course and went with a third-party forum, it has to be interconnected to make this seamless. And that process was going to take 3 to 5 weeks when we launched this about 10 days ago. Because members were so unhappy with the forum that was built into the new site, we decided not to wait for that seamless integration and to go ahead and launch this new forum. So this page is just kind of explaining that to you in case you weren't aware of that, and gives you a link directly to the forum. Once this, it's called single sign-on, and it will allow the member database here on this site to interface with the member database on the third-party forum site so that it knows you're a member without having to log in separately. At the moment, you do have to log in separately. So you will arrive here. You will be able to log in. We highly suggest that you make your username and password the same on this site, on this part of the site, as it is on the main greatloop.org site. It'll eliminate some confusion for you. It'll just make things easier all the way around. We have preloaded this with the same username that you have on the greatloop.org website. So if you have not gotten an email with instructions on logging into this, just go to here, put in your email address or your username from the greatloop.org main part of the site and hit this forgot password. Again, you can self-service on this. We are happy to help if that doesn't work or if there's any challenges with that. But you don't have to wait for us. You can go ahead and trigger a new password to be sent to you. We also highly recommend you tap the Keep Me Logged In button here because that is going to make things much more seamless as you move from the main part of the site to this forum. So I am going to log in, and this is the forum site. You'll notice in your browser bar here, it's forum.greatloop.org. So you have arrived in the right place. The first thing you've got here is your topic list. And we have a few pinned to the top. One is, of course, a word from our sponsors. We've also got some instructions and frequently asked questions and some best practices for you. So we suggest you check those out, but of course you don't have to. But the topic list is listed in order from the most recent post on down to the oldest post. So as you can see, we've been on this forum for 10 days or so, and there's several pages, 87 different topics available to you here. Once you click on a boat, sorry, I'm looking at the moving on to a boat. Once you click on a topic here, you will be brought to that thread. Now you saw how it scrolled. That's because I have visited this topic before, and the software brings me to the last post that I have not read for this topic. So I can scroll back up if I choose, but the topic is ordered from first post on down to the most recent post. And as I said, it kind of scrolled me to where I left off reading, which was here. Once you are inside a topic like this, also known as threads, I think in the previous forum we called them threads, you can very easily reply. If you scroll to the bottom, you can write a general reply, which is perfectly fine. But if there are a lot of posts, as there are here, if there's something you want to direct at a specific comment, you would want to use this quote feature. And that button is invisible until you put your mouse over it. But you, like perhaps I want to direct a response, particularly to Mick, I can quote that. So my reply will open up. You'll see the little square brackets with quote at the beginning and the end. That is his quote. If I wanted to take some of that out, I certainly can. Just make sure you leave the quote beginning and end so that it will be recognized as a quote. And I can type my comment here. When I hit reply, oh, I think I messed up the quote. Let me try it again. Sorry about that, folks. Let's quote this one. If I hit my reply, you'll see that the quote, it says who said it. It's very clearly identified as a quote, and then my text will be below that. I've been seeing some posts that are just a quote. So somebody's hitting the quote and then hitting reply. Just know that you can actually type under the quote. And if you've done this by mistake, you can actually come over here and edit your post. And you can add below that. Here's my type. So you can save that. And now the quote has your text under it. So if you've accidentally hit quote and posted it, that's how you would go about changing that. You can also send a direct message right from here. We know that was something a lot of folks did on our old site. So if I want to send a direct message to, let's say Wes, I can hit direct message. His username will pop up, and this is going to send him a direct message through the system. So that's your direct messaging feature. You can get back to your topic list there or from the menu. And I also want to point out, it's a little bit hard to see, but if there are posts, first of all, the purple is any link I have visited. So if I have looked at Kim Russo's profile, that's purple. If I have visited this thread, it's purple. That is the reason behind the colors there. But you'll also notice, and again, it's a little bit hard to see on some screens, but a word from our sponsors here or forum user instructions is a little bit bolder than forum best practices. That's telling me that there are posts within this topic that I have not yet seen. So you can see that this one is not bold because I just was in there and read that. So it's, like I said, kind of light, but there is bolding that happens when you have visited and read all of the messages in a topic. So I'm going to click on that one. I'm going to scroll through as if I have read them. And now when I go back, it is purple and the bold has come off. So you can see that this one is a little bit more bold than that. And if I refresh it, you'll probably see that more clearly. So that is how the posts are sorted. That is how you can reply. If you would like to start a new topic, you can click right there. You can add polls if you'd like. You just add your question and the choices. And you can put a poll out here for members. But if you want to type a regular topic, you can type it here. You can come down here and you can type your content here. This is a rich text editor, so you can make things colors. If I want to have red type, I can do that. If I want it to be bold or italicized or underlined, I can do all of those things. I can add bulleted lists, numbered lists. I can link this to something if I chose to. So lots of features there for you, and that is now, oh, I think I hit it wrong. Okay, now I've got a link built. Okay. So this is how you build a link. You do have to highlight the text first. That is what I was doing wrong there, so that it knows what you're linking. Now we've got that set up properly as a link once I post it. The other things that are kind of neat, like let's say I have a YouTube video like this one that I would like to share. If I post that and go to my preview post button, you can see that the actual video will be inserted here so that you can play the video, and you can see that now that this is a link. Now I was only previewing this. I have not posted it yet. So when the preview button is available to you, you can preview and then you can post and your post will be there. You can also insert links to websites, and some websites have this capability and some don't. But if you insert the link as its own line in your post, if it's a website that has that capability, it will insert basically a preview of the site. So what I copied in was our Great Loop Radio podcast on the Apple podcast app. And I put the URL in here and it actually brought me the different podcast topics, most recent. So it makes it very visual, makes it pretty easy for users to have an experience of what you're trying to show them, more so than if I had just posted that link. You can also, of course, like posts. Oops, can't like my own post. But that is kind of the features of how to post and reply. You can also insert pictures. So if I choose that, I can either insert a picture from somewhere on a website using a URL, or I can upload a picture from my hard drive, just select it, and it will insert that right into the body of the post. So that's another one of the capabilities there. More, as I said, rich text editing buttons. You can add attachments as well. So very easy to use, very much like composing an email. So that is how you post. This button marks all of the topics as read. So if you've been in here, you've kind of seen what you want to see and you mark them all as read. You may have noticed the bolding went away on all of these. So now next time I come back, I will know which things I've read and which things I haven't read. I want to point out a few other features from this hamburger menu. You can come back here to topics, or you can go to a members area. The top 25 posters are listed. New members are listed. And there, of course, is all members. And there's quite a gaggle of us. So that's maybe a little bit less than user friendly when you're trying to find somebody specific, but that is okay because there is a search. So if I am looking for Kim Russo, I can type that in. And as I type, it will pop up matches for me. And I can click on Kim Russo and it brings me to Kim Russo's profile on here. I can see her posts, 44 of them. I can see topics that Kim started. I can see things that have been liked. I can message her directly, or I can even email her directly from here. So if you are looking for a specific user, that is the way to do it, through this search here. And once you have searched and found a user, if I know Kim posted something about a river that I was interested in, let's hope this turns up something. Nope, nothing. Let's try to remember what I've posted. I'm sure we need to search for me again. You can search for members up here. And once again, I've searched, I'm sure I've used the word forum. It will isolate to just my posts that used the word forum. So if you're searching for, you know that Quo Vadimus posted something about the Chesapeake, you can narrow in on the search that way. You can also search without searching for a member first. So if you know there was something about Chicago and you want to search through the topics about that, you'll find that there are lots of posts about Chicago already. And there is, of course, an advanced search where you can put in keywords. You can look for an author, which again is a member. And as soon as you type a few letters, it's going to bring you matching choices. You can search within a certain number of replies and a certain date. So this all makes it much easier to find previous content. While we're talking about previous content, I do want to let you know the archives from the Club Express forum have been exported from Club Express. We are at this point in a waiting game for those to be reformatted and imported into this forum. So we are working on making that 6 years of history that was on the Club Express site available and searchable. We made the decision to have the vendor work first on the single sign-on so that this seamlessly integrates with the greatloop.org main site to make it easier on members that way. And then the next project will be getting the archives out here. So when you search, you'll be searching a whole lot more than just the past 10 days or so of posts. Last thing to show you here on the forum site is your own profile. So if you click on your area here, this will either show your initials, or if you've already uploaded a picture called an avatar, your avatar will show here. Clicking on your profile brings you to your own profile as others would see it. So the posts I have made as Joe Looper are here. If you would like to edit your profile, that is of course under edit profile. So you can come in here, you can change how your name shows. We don't require any of this other information, but if you want to upload an avatar, I have already uploaded one, but the process is the same. If you have not yet uploaded it, you can hit the view if you have uploaded it, and if you want to change it or upload one, you can just pick a picture from your device's hard drive. So you can fill in anything in the About Me that you'd like to share. Nothing is required there, but those are your account settings. Sorry, that is the edit profile. You can also go to your account settings either from here, settings, or on that screen I was just on. Your username can be edited from here. So if you want a different username to show, you can edit right there. These settings, we highly suggest you leave unchanged if you like your daily digest forum, the email that comes from the forum. The way the digest works is it is tailored to each person to show you the topics that you follow, and to also only show you posts that you have not already seen by logging in. So by default, everyone is automatically following all topics, and everyone is automatically being emailed their followed content daily. If you don't like your daily digest, you can set this to never. You can get a weekly summary, but it will not be all posts. I and others have it set to immediately, and I get an individual emailed message from each and every post. The interesting thing about the immediate choice is that you can reply to those emails via email and it will post. I know in the previous version of the forum on Club Express, you could reply from the daily digest to some of the posts. Unbeknownst to a lot of you, probably that actually created a lot of issues when people would reply directly to the full digest. It would post the whole thing again. I know some of you will miss that feature. This is truly a cleaner way to do it. I'm going to show you the daily digest in a minute, but you can get the immediate posts if you choose that. And if you don't want all topics, you can filter down a little bit further to what it's automatically going to allow you to follow. But we know that most of you do enjoy getting all topics. Under notifications, this is what allows users to email you directly. So if you do not want to be emailed by people on the forum, you simply uncheck that. Messages are internal within the forum site. So if you do not want to receive messages, you can turn that off. I'm sorry, you can turn, will email you if somebody sends you a message on here. It will also email you if somebody mentions you in a post, and I should go back and show you how to do that. And it will email you when somebody quotes you in a post. And these are web-based notifications of the same that you can certainly turn off. Those would be kind of web-based notifications that would notify you of those same things. So that's how you trigger your daily digest. I want to make a brief stop back at some of the topics. So again, I went to the hamburger button. I went to topics. And just to show you the mentioning, similar to some social media, if you put the @ sign and start to type the letters, you will be able to basically mention someone. So if I pick that boat name, this, as I post it, will become a link to their profile. And if their settings are set up as such, they will receive an email notification that somebody has mentioned them. So it's a good way if you want somebody to, notice and respond to your post. If you mention them in there, they get additional notifications also through the little notification button. So that's how you mention someone. I do want to switch over and show you a daily digest version. This is mine that came today. This is kind of, I believe this is actually for a different account because I have one set up that I never log into. The reason being is, again, the digest will only show you posts that the software knows you have not already seen. So if I were to log in at 9 p.m. and read posts, this morning's digest would be very limited because it would only show me things posted after I last logged in. Again, they're trying not to clutter your mailbox with things you have already read. So I can see that this morning's digest had 6 new topics that had been started and 60 new replies to existing topics. As you scroll down, you will see links to further down. So this in the little tiny letters says new. So these are my new topics. And if I click that, it will take me to where that topic begins. I do want to note that these links often do not work on mobile devices. It's a limitation in mobile devices. We had that problem with Club Express's digest as well. And because the Club Express digest, and again, these are small, but you can see that there are 12 responses to this last season decision to help. In Club Express's digest, that would lead to 12 links to that. And this list of links was so long, we had many users who were new that tried to click on them on a mobile device and they didn't go anywhere and never realized there was more content further down because this list was so long. So if those links don't work, just scroll down till you get to the content. Again, that's pretty common on a mobile device. So you will then see your new posts. So again, these are new topics. You can read the full, these are not clickable, but it just shows you that when this digest was sent, how many people had viewed the topic and how many comments there were on the topic. And as you continue down, you will see all of the replies that have been made since the last digest or since the last time you logged in. There are several posts on moving to a new boat full-time, as I mentioned above. So here's one, here's another. They continue on. One of the limitations, one of the things that we find awkward, and there's actually a discussion going on about this today, is that it would make more sense. These are being presented newest post to oldest post. And the problem with that is you're kind of reading the conversation backwards. So we're still kind of pushing the vendor to see if we can affect change there. We're hoping we can. So far, they're telling us that the digest kind of is what it is. It's kind of stagnant. But most of the feedback we've given them about the digest were not such critical observations. So we're still hoping we can do something with that. And as you're noticing, some folks have uploaded pictures. These are the avatars that I showed you when we were on the actual forum site. That is delivered right there in the daily digest if you have uploaded one. So that is what a digest looks like. I want to stop for a moment there and see if we have any questions specific to the forum. So you can type those in the Q&A. You can also raise your hand if you have questions, and we can unmute your mic and we can call on you to ask them directly. But if there are questions in the Q&A, I'm going to have Karen go ahead and read those to me.
We don't have any at this moment.
Okay, well, that is good to hear. Hopefully it's, I mean, it really is super simple. And, you know, we got a couple comments that we put out our guide to help you, and it's multiple pages. And I think some people found that daunting, but it does have a lot of screenshots. It's really very user friendly, but we know some folks just like to have written instructions. So we put that out and hope it didn't intimidate anyone. It's pinned there in that second topic from the top. But there is a kind of a user's manual, so to speak, that explains some things.
We do have a couple of questions that's come in. Daniel's wanting to know about Safari. He's having issues with Safari.
Yep, we are still looking at that, Daniel. Basically, what we have determined through additional testing, this did not turn up in our initial testing, and we apologize to some of our Safari users who are experiencing this. We did a lot of internal testing after that started to come up and have discovered that it appears to be an issue with older versions of Safari. We cannot duplicate the issue if we go to the current version of Safari. We here at the home port were able to duplicate it if we go back to Safari version 12 or Safari version 10. So the best option is to upgrade your Safari to version 14, which is current. We do know, however, that older Apple devices will not allow you to update to the current version of Safari. That's the problem we're still trying to resolve with the vendor. As you might imagine, most software, if they are compatible with current versions of browsers, aren't too motivated to go back and make it compatible with previous versions. We know that's not really a good answer for our members who are on older devices that can't upgrade to the current version. So we're still looking for a solution to that. In the meantime, you should not have that problem on the forum site, which is what we've covered so far. We know that that does exist on the main part of the website, and that's what we're still working to fix. For some of those older devices, we have also tried Chrome and had a similar problem. So it seems to be, as I said, limited to older devices. And I know that's not a good answer for those of you who have those older devices and don't have other options. We're continuing to work on it. So hopefully we'll have some news for you there in the short term.
We have a couple of more questions. Darcy's wanting to know if what you see on the forum website is the same thing, excuse me, is the same thing that appears in your email digest.
So meaning, I'm assuming, Darcy, that you're meaning, are the posts the same on the forum website as the email digest? And the answer there is yes, it's all of the same content. If you have not logged into the forum, you will have every single post in your digest. You know, if you haven't logged on in the past 24 hours, you will have every single post in your digest. If you log on, you know, immediately, if you're in this forum, which I still have on my screen here, if I decide I want to view this topic, you know, if I do that in the morning and view the topic and then leave the forum site again, I will basically have everything except that topic in the next day's digest. It's just if you log on later in the day and read some posts, you may not have all of them in your digest the next morning because you've already seen them, is the logic behind that. So hopefully that answered Darcy's question. If it didn't, Darcy, just go ahead and type some more in there for us, and I'll get a better answer for you.
She did respond that you were answering when you asked for clarification on the question, that yes, that was indeed what she was asking. So
excellent. Okay.
We have another Kim. She's asking, she registered for the webinar, and so she's just wanting clarification if what you just went over is the new website or the old website.
This is the new forum. We still have yet to go to the main part of the website, but we know the forum is super important to people, so we wanted to start there. So this is the current version of the forum. We are completely moved away from any other version. So we couldn't show you the old ones even if we wanted to. This is the new one. This is the only one at this point.
That's it for the questions. Now, unless anybody else has one they want to type in.
Okay, well, we'll give that a second. In the meantime, I'm going to close a couple things here and get ready to show you kind of the interactive area of the site. So when we first logged in, I showed you how I logged in. I am not logged in at the moment, so let me go ahead and do that. If I can pick the right one this time. There we go. Okay, so this is the main site, and this is the kind of the public area of the main site, although some of these features are only available to members. As I said, these are largely the same as the previous site. If you liked the previous site, it is all still here, that and some. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time focusing on here. Anyone can very easily kind of work their way through these menus and see everything that's available to them. Where I want to spend the most time is on the community area. Now we've heard from some who aren't particularly thrilled with the community area because they find it too much like social media. Again, our survey told us that people were expecting better ways to connect with other members and a more modern experience. So if you're not a social media fan, we get it. This is not social media in that it is not a wide group of people. AGLCA's The Great Loop Facebook group is approaching 30,000 people in it, and we get it. There's information you don't want to share with 30,000 people. This is a members-only community area. Yes, there are some ways to interact that are social media like, and you by no means you don't have to ever visit it if that's not your thing. We completely get it. This is all new. Some people may love it, some people may choose not to use it, and that's perfectly fine. Once you are logged in, where the login was, you'll see my profile, and there's direct links to a lot of the different features that are in the community area. So I am going to just click on my feed, which is a typical landing spot. You'll notice that the community area has a little bit of a different look. So instead of the red and the blue lines here, you have this gray menu bar with a link to click or tap to go back to the main area, the home page of the site. So if you're seeing this grayness, you are in the community area. And let me go ahead and hide my video again so I'm not taking up any real estate for some of you. So I have landed in my feed. And your feed is designed to bring you updates about what is going on in the community. So if people have uploaded pictures, they will be here. You can put quick little blurbs about what you're doing or where you're cruising today. You can like posts. And I realize that I'm scrolling through very quickly. That is partly for member privacy because we are posting this video so people will understand how to use the site. So I'm moving pretty quickly through some of the areas where there's member names and things like that is the reason behind that. But your feed basically brings you all of the news and information that is coming from the community. So lots of options in the community. You would want to consider this area here, your feed, your profile. This is more or less, and I'm going to call it the front end, your front end interface into your community. And I want to jump over to kind of I'll call it your administrative side of your profile in your community. So I'm going to jump up here where you should see, again, you can upload a picture. You'll see your name. If you click the drop down arrow, you will see some choices. I am going to go to account and settings. This is where everything you'd like to do to manage your account happens. You can create a personalized URL for your account. So if you want it to be Kim Russo, you can do that. If you would like to change your username or password, you can do that right here. So again, to get to here, you are clicking your name, you are going to account and settings, and you will land on your profile information. Every one of these fields that has a little icon here that looks like a person, that is your indicator that you get to pick and choose whether or not that information is shown to other members in the directory. So if I don't want my specific address listed, and that happens to be our office address, but I can click that. If it shows a padlock once I click it, then it is private. It's not visible anymore in my profile. If I want members to be able to see that, I can click it for members to see it, and that's when it's a person. So anything that shows the padlock, like perhaps I don't want to get phone calls, I can switch that to a padlock so no one can see my phone number anymore. You can also hide yourself completely from the directory. There's a switch here. You can either say, yes, show me in the directory, or no, hide me from the directory. If you pick to be hidden, you won't show up there at all. So you don't have to worry about toggling any of these switches here. If you pick yes, show me in the directory, that's when toggling these will have an impact on what is shown about you and what is not. You can manage your email preferences here if you don't want to get any correspondence from us, which we highly, sometimes the correspondence is important stuff, but everybody has the option to save their own preferences. So basic profile information is at the top. This part is very important if you are a harbor host, let's say, and let's say you live 50 miles inland, but your boat is at a marina along the coast and you harbor host in the area near your marina. You would want to put in the marina's address here and then set this as your preferred contact. That is what's going to show you in the right place as a harbor host. So again, if you're a harbor host and your area that you're hosting is a little bit outside your home address area, you want to go to this alternate address and set that as your preferred contact. Continuing on down, this is all your great loop info. So you can set your loop status, planning in progress completed or completed more than once. You can put in your boat name, your boat length, your boat make, your boat type. We've got a drop down here. If you have started your loop, you put the loop start date and where you started. All these are things we encourage you to log in frequently and update. These are searchable on the front end. So for those people who are wondering, I'm thinking about looping in 2023, I wonder who else is going to be looping. If you set yourself as part of that fleet, and you can be multiple fleets, you'll show up in those searches. So you really want to make sure that this information is accurate. So come in and check your profile here on a regular basis. This is where you can sign up to be a harbor host. There's details here about what exactly that means to be a harbor host. We also have a speakers bureau if public speaking is something you enjoy, and a writers bureau if writing articles and things like that is something you enjoy. You can just sign yourself up for those by checking them. These are not shown in the profile. That's kind of for the Homeport Crew's information. If we get a request for somebody to present about the Great Loop in a particular area, we turn to our speakers bureau. And then of course, anything if you've changed it, you have to accept the terms and conditions. They can be read here. And there is a link here. If you copy and paste that link into a browser, you have a downloadable version of the terms and conditions. So that is all of your profile information, all in one handy place. I'm going to hit save. Okay, and it brought me back to my profile. I do want to show you a few other things in what I'm calling your own admin panel. So back to that account and settings area again, click your name, account and settings. We've been through the profile, but the information and settings is where you control all kinds of things about your account. So preferences. This is communication preferences. And if you do not like this community area, you want to come in here and uncheck all of these, and you will stop getting any notices at all from the community area. So we know some people are not wanting those. Turn them all off. You won't get anything. There has been some confusion because this community area does spawn what the email titles a daily digest that is different from the forum digest. So if you're getting a digest that says daily digest, and it's really just got a couple like picture updates and a click through to see the other things you're missing, it is coming from this community area. We are working hard to turn that off for everyone because we know it's creating some confusion. There is an option that lets us do that, and it just is not functioning correctly. So we're waiting for the vendor to change that, make that correction so we can turn that off, so that the default will be for it to be off, and then y'all can come in here and turn it on if you want. The forum is no longer active here, so turning the forum digest on or off is going to do nothing. The group digest is if you're a member of groups, and I'll show you the groups in just a minute, but if you have joined groups, the group digest rolls up all of the activity in all of your groups into one single digest and sends that to you. So again, we'll cover groups in a moment. The daily update is the one I just mentioned. That just gives you a little tidbit of what's changed, people's updates. And then the weekly update is a little bit more, I find it helpful because it tells you about upcoming events and latest news and things like that. But you have the control to turn any of these on and off. So if this community area is something you love and you want to be emailed when somebody invites you to connect, you can leave these on or you can turn them off. Another thing from this information and settings menu that we get a lot of questions about is this spouse or partner tab. Each account on the greatloop.org website is usable for 2 people because we know many of you cruise as a couple. So you've got the ability to add your spouse or partner or your cruising companion to your membership. So if you have not yet done that, this is what your screen will look like. It'll tell you have 1 seat available. You can click create spouse or partner and you will be brought to like a registration screen to enter them. Alternatively, you can give your spouse or partner this link, and when they click on that link, it will bring them to a registration screen that is attached to your account, and they will become the secondary person on your account. Or you can put their email address here, and it will send them an email invite to join as the secondary member on your account. So we've gotten lots of questions. How do I add my spouse? How do I add my sister? That is exactly how you do it. Come to this spouse partner tab and either send them the link or put their email address in here and click send invite, and it will send them an invite and they will be set up with their own access to all of the features on the website. I'm going to skip the forum settings because again, that is no longer active on this. And these are just kind of minor features. You can subscribe to blogs as people enter blogs on the site. It's really not active yet. You can refer friends. This is if you have already referred someone, and you can connect apps like your Facebook account and things like that. So that's the remainder of the information and settings. I want to point out payments and history. As time goes by, if you have renewed, you will see that all here. As you register for events, that will all start to show up here. So your full history will be here. If you were ordering something and for some reason didn't want to put your credit card online or struggled with the online, Julie can set up an invoice and you'll find your open invoices here. You can come in and pay it. And then the membership here is where you can print your membership card. So again, lots of requests for membership card. If you go to account and settings, payment history, membership, you can tap to print your membership card and it is populated with your number, when it expires, etc. And you can print your membership card from there. And then we don't do donations too often, but generally about once a year we do have our advocacy fundraising drive, and if you choose to contribute to that, that would show here. This again is your admin panel. No one else sees this, but this is for you to kind of see your history, your financial transactions with the organization. And then the final part on this menu, again, we got here from account and settings, content and features. You have the ability to create your own web pages within our site. Each member can use up to 10. This is where you can create or maintain them. So if you add a new page, you're just going to call it something. And you type this in just the same way as I showed you for the forum. I am actually going to go back to pages. This is a page that I created just as a sample. You can activate or deactivate it, you can edit it, or you can view it. So if I choose to edit it, this is a great place to put your Great Loop story or your bio. All of this can be formatted, colors, bold. You can put pictures in. Lots of different options here. So that is just, if you choose to, you can create some web pages for others to view. Same thing with blogs. You can create a blog. Again, we're not seeing a lot of use on this feature. We really haven't publicized it. We know there's lots of great blog tools out there, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. Photos is where a lot of you are updating photos and things like that. You can create albums. So I might want to create an album that says East Coast and put in all my pictures from the East Coast leg of the trip. I'm struggling to type the way my computer is situated, so I'm just going to add it. Once you have an album, you can upload photos. Oops, sorry, you have to add them first. So I can just pick some photos from my hard drive. Now I've added them. Then I hit upload, and as simple as that, they are all uploaded. So of course it takes it a moment to finish the upload. You can decide if those are visible to members only, or you can make them visible to everyone. So if you have friends or family members that you want to be able to see your pictures, you can make them available to everyone. And just shout out, these are not my photos. These are mostly photos submitted for our photo contest. So these, I'm not going to take credit for these. I'll take these back down when we're done. And once you have your photos, you can write comments on them. You can also change the settings on them. So if I select this photo, I can change the visibility so it's members only or everyone. I can move the album it's in, etc. So this is a great place for you to put some photos to share with others. If you have a spouse or partner that you've added, that will be here. Just to go back again, account and settings, content and features. Bookmarks. These are, you can explore these, again, networks you've connected to. If you've submitted an idea, this is still in development. That's where the feedback will come from. Bookmarks is pretty handy though. I'm going to use this button to go back to the main part of the site for a minute. And as I am browsing informational pages or other pages, you will notice this little bookmark here. That is called a bookmark. You can name it whatever you'd like. You can either share it with other members or keep it private. And once you've submitted, it changes to yellow when you're on the front end. If I go back to my profile, and we were actually looking at it here in the accounts, content and features. You'll now see that my bookmark, I just added the harbor guides. So if there are pages on the website that you want to remember to come back and read in more depth, or you want to be able to access quickly, it'll link you right back to that page on the website. Now, again, we went to that through our admin panel area, but when you're in your profile here, and this is kind of what everyone sees. So this is, again, kind of your front end as opposed to where you control everything. Within your own profile, this is activity. You see these posts that I just made, the pictures I uploaded, any of my contact information that I hid or added. You remember I clicked on my fleet of, and I was added to the fleet of those different years. You can see the photos that I've uploaded, all photos and my specific album for East Coast. If I have added a spouse or partner, they will be listed here. And then under more is where some of that content that I'm building and saving is going to start to be displayed. So files and links, you can build a library. Let's say that I have found a really helpful file on waterwayguide.com. So I want to save that here. I can either save it as private, which means only I will see it, or I can make it for members only, which will put it into my profile. I can put the URL here. Whoops. And I can put a description here. Sorry, my computer's in such an awkward spot to be typing, so I apologize for that. This is just going to want you to agree basically that you have, the right to save this, and it's going to add that as a file. So you can come back and find files. So this really becomes, as you're building out your profile, it becomes a repository for all of your Great Loop information. So you can bookmark pages, and this is the faster way to get to your bookmarks. If you've bookmarked pages on our site from your profile, you can simply go to more and go to bookmarks. Your files and links I just showed you. And that page that I created, my Joe Looper page, I could have called that my bio or my Great Loop story. And as long as I've made that visible to others, any members can come and tap on that and kind of read my story. So that's what this profile area is all about. A few more details. I know we're kind of running short on time, and I hate to have these things go too long. The rest of this community area along this gray bar here, you can exchange messages with people here on the site. So I can compose a new message and type in a username. So if I am looking to send something to Julie, I can find Julie Shea, and send her a message through the system and send on out to Julie. And it's a fully functioning mailbox that you can set your preferences. You can file things away into folders. So that's messages. Connections are a way to kind of build your little tribe in the Great Loop. And I can search for others. And again, I'm just going to pick a Homeport crew member to search for. Sorry, this is searching my existing connections. Don't have any on this account right now, but I can look for available connections. And then I can hit the connect button on any of these to connect with that person, and they will get a message, either a default one, or I can say send my own message, and I can request to connect with someone. So that's how the connections work. And then groups is actually an important feature. We've got 7 or so special interest groups. Any that you have joined will be on the left here when you click on groups. Any that are available that you have not joined will be here on the right. And each group has its own area, its own welcome page. If I click on the Trailer Loopers group, you can see some posts that have been made. They've been having a discussion specific to trailering your looping boat. They've got their own photo gallery for the group. The group has its own directory that shows members just of this group. And the group also has its own forum that they can communicate. So each group has its own little setup like that. So we definitely encourage you to come check out the group area. Again, their special interest groups none of them may apply to you, but if one does, it's a great way to gather information about looping as a family or fishing on the loop, or something that doesn't apply to all loopers, but might be an area of interest to you. And then the last thing in this community area, in this horizontal menu bar, is the quick links. We've tried to put links here to the most commonly used things for members. So a link back to the forum is here. A link to all of the different directories is here. The form to report your loop completion when you cross your wake is here. The buy a Burgee is here. You can go to the classified ads from here, and you can return to the main site. I do want to take a moment to show you the directories because they really are a huge improvement over what we had before. So I clicked on quick links, find a harbor host. So if I am approaching Charleston, South Carolina, and I want to find a harbor host, this is how I would do it. Typically, you do not want to type in Charleston as the city, because there may be a member who is a harbor host who's just outside the city and their address may not be Charleston. So I think it's most effective to search by state. You want the full state name here, not the abbreviation, so that you get your results. The member database is going to be searched specifically for harbor hosts. You can see for South Carolina, we've got quite a few. The map will zoom in. Sometimes it takes it a second. And then once you're zoomed in to the general area, you can start zooming in to Charleston. And when you zoom in far enough, you'll see the specific markers for the different harbor hosts. As soon as you tap on a marker, you see who that is. And again, for privacy reasons, I'm selecting my own. And once you click on them, you are brought to their profile. So their phone number, email address is here. Phone number is in the about info. So you can learn more about that harbor host and reach out to them that way. So that's how you find a harbor host. Again, I suggest searching by state. I had someone looking for a harbor host in Cleveland over the weekend and couldn't find anyone, but there's actually like 7 harbor hosts around Cleveland. It's just that none are in Cleveland proper. So definitely suggest searching by state there and then zooming in. The sponsor directory is also very robust. You can, for sponsors, a lot of them, the location doesn't matter so much, but if you are looking for, let's say, insurance, you can pick that category and then hit the search, and all of our insurance and financing sponsors will come up. And you can, of course, click on any of them to go to their profile. Also, if you're looking for let me start a new search on the sponsor directory. Let's say I'm looking for a marina. And I'm looking for one, again, near Charleston. I'll type in South Carolina. Whoops, I spelled it wrong. It's not going to come back with any results. Boatyards and marinas, South Carolina. and you'll find 5 records. And if by reading the location you aren't quite sure where they are, then again, you've got the map that you can zoom in to find where those sponsor locations are. So that is the sponsor directory search. Again, I'm just going to zoom in far enough to start to see the little markers, and then you can tap on them to see who they are. The last one is the full member directory. This is really robust. You can search for any combination of these fields. So if you want to find, if you're thinking about looping in a small boat and you put it boat length less than or equal to 20 feet, you may want to say people who have completed the loop, so you can focus in on people who are gold loopers and have done it. So you hit the search, and it is coming back with 6 records. Again, I'm not going to show you too much detail about those 6 because this video will be out there. But if you want to look for somebody who might be doing the loop in, let's say, a main ship, who plans to be in the fleet of 2022, you can set those parameters. Whoops, I've done it too many times, and that again is a safety feature. It's trying to make sure that somebody's not trying to hack the data there. So it just asked me to prove I was a human. And we found 34 records that are listed as having a main ship. You'll see that up here, and planning to do the loop as part of the fleet of 2022. You can search by boat name. So if you're out there cruising and you see a boat but don't know who it belongs to, you can type in the boat name. If you're considering buying a bayliner for the loop, you can type in bayliner and put in a length and look for other members who have that boat, so you can reach out and get some feedback. So really powerful here. We also included the harbor host field here. So if you're hesitant to reach out somebody, but you'd feel more comfortable if you knew they were a harbor host, you can check that onto yes and find people who are harbor hosts who maybe have a main ship and are going to be in the fleet of 2022. So that's the member directory, really a much better search capability than we've ever had before. Those are really the main features of the community site. So I know we're pretty much at our stopping time, but so if anybody has a hard stop and wants to be on their way, you are more than welcome to leave us at this time, but I am also very happy to stay and answer whatever questions we have. So Karen, do you want to go ahead and share what we might have with me?
Yes. Jib wants to know if you utilize the pages or blogs can be shared with non-AGLCA members.
Yes. And that's part of, it depends on the settings you choose. But yes, that is part of why you can have your own URL specified. That on your profile, there's a way to specify a custom URL, and that's part of what will help you send that to others. So if you want more details on that, go ahead and reach out to us, and we'll send you all the parameters and the specifics.
Darcy had a question, already typed in the answer, but other people may want to know that as well. She was wanting to know if the sponsor search listed all marinas or just the sponsors.
It just lists sponsor marinas. Part of that is because we want to give some benefit to our sponsors because they do a great job of supporting AGLCA members and loopers in general. But also because there are already great resources for complete listings of marinas. And those are, Waterway Guide is one. There are several others that are really good resources for finding marinas. So we didn't really feel like we needed to reinvent the wheel on that one.
Right. At this time, we don't have any other open questions unless somebody wants to type one in.
Okay. Yep. We'll give everyone a minute to do that while we wrap up. We do intend to post this video later today to our YouTube channel. We're just going to take a little bit of time and note some points in the video, meaning, if I started talking about a particular setting at a particular time, so we can build links to that. So when you come back to say, I know Kim showed me that, but I'm wondering how to do this, we're going to build a series of links to take you directly to that spot instead of having to watch the hour-long video again. So it'll take us a little time to do that, but we hope to have the video out for you later today if anybody wants to review it. Any questions, Karen?
Still not seeing anything.
Okay, well, of course, you don't have to wait for another webinar to ask us questions. info@greatloop.org is a great way to ask questions. We at the Homeport are also loving this contact us form from the homepage, and it follows through on basically all of the pages of this main part of the site. If you hit the contact us, if you're logged in, it'll already fill in your information for us, and you can just type your question. This is really easy for us to keep track of things and who we've answered and get back to you quickly. So that's a great way to reach out if you do have questions. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it, and we really hope you do enjoy some of these new features. If you have thoughts on other webinars that would be useful for you as you become more accustomed to the new site or the new forum, let us know. We're always happy to do these. Thanks, everyone. Have a happy and safe afternoon. Bye-bye.